Yeah, it started all those years ago with all the Hollywood stars, the great Bing Crosby, used to be called the clam bake, but look what it's turned into now. Now golfers are the stars. And if you want to be part of this, there is no better place. Come to Pebble Beach.
Well, you can't walk out and drop it any better than that. That is a fine tee shot right there.
Second shot, good look at the green.
And safely on deck. That's the main thing, but from that distance, really don't want to leave yourself like a knee knocker, like a 4 or 5 footer. So this first putt's going to have to be good.
Yeah, that's what happens when you fall in love with the line and forget about the speed.
This from 7 feet.
Safely in. It's a par here at the 10th. He's going to need to come up with a few birdies in short order if he wants to play the weekend. So a disappointing end to the tournament for our featured golfer heading home following these 2 rounds after failing to make the cut.
Time for a little introspective look. What we did well, what we didn't.
EA Sports and the PGA Tour proudly present the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. From the Monterey Peninsula, live opening round coverage of the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Blue skies on top of blue waters, right next to one of the prettiest pieces of green grass on this good earth, as we check out the leaderboard here in round 1. Your leader is Wake Forest's Will Zalatoris. He's got it going early at 7 under par. So out to the action we go as we catch up with our golfer on the tee at the par 4 13. So many great golf courses here on the Monterey Peninsula. We're at Pebble Beach for this, the 3rd tournament on the PGA Tour schedule this year. And Frank, we look at the golfer we're going to be following. Rookie on this tour, still looking to play the weekend for the first time after 2 missed cuts. Is there a danger of getting too discouraged early on?
There certainly is, and I think that's exactly where the player feels right now. If all of a sudden it's 3 in a row, you start to think, have I made the right decision? But I remember a line from the late, great Arnold Palmer. He said, this game is 90% mental, and the other 10%, well, that's mental as well.
Boy, a good round going here on this Thursday, and that another fine effort off the tee. A left to right breeze, something to consider here as he eyes this second shot. That's got to be disappointing. Good line in the fairway, and the approach winds up in the bunker. That is a good-looking pass out of the bunker right there. Got that to stop in a good place, leaving just a few feet for par.
Okay, safely in for par here at 13, and he'll stay at -3. Frank, this whole area of the country, Monterey, Carmel, 17-mile drive, just such a stunning setting for golf. We're just taking a nice drive with the emerald green fairway set against the ocean blue. It's just ideal. But talk to me about playing the course, Pebble Beach. What should a young golfer like this keep in mind when teeing it up for the first time as a professional?
Rich, it's the polar opposite of the drive-in, where you decompress and look at the views. Because once you get onto that first tee at Pebble, it's a wonderful golf course designed by Jack Neville. You're going to realize that no two holes look the same. I mean, that's stating the obvious there. But side hill lies when you play it towards the Pacific. And then you sort of beat your way around the golf course. The beautiful downhill par 3/7. I know it's talked about and it's photographed, but that's where you start scratching your head and like, do I have the right club? And that's a feeling you get at Pebble so often around this golf course. But I mentioned 7, so I've got to mention 8, 9, and 10. In my opinion, they're the 3 best par 4s in a row in any golf course I've ever seen. I mean, they're beautiful driving holes and iron play, but, Pebble's about the experience, but it's also about the legacy that this golf course has for America. So to compete at Pebble is one thing. To play well at Pebble, well, that's another thing as well.
Getting some sand in the shoes now for a second straight hole. He's in the bunker. Frank, what's the best way to play this bunker shot?
Well, this 4th shot here, Rich, he's got to get that ball first, that lip in front of him. Make sure you carry that.
And that will work its way just off the green and set up a shot from the fringe.
Frank, I think you have to appreciate that he kept his head down and kept his head in the game, and he'll be able to get out of here with a bogey.
Hey, I've been watching for a while, Rich, and I haven't seen touch that good for quite a while.
Safely in. It's a bogey here at 14. And that's going to drop him to 2 under.
Here at the 15th, a good drive, Frank, would be right down the middle. A bad drive would be on 17-mile drive. As scenic as it is, it's not where you want to be, is it? It's out of bounds.
Well, you can't afford to go right. You can't afford to pay for that real estate on the right either. So, yeah, anything down there. And fortunately, it's a downhill tee shot. I know there's sort of 4 bunkers really down the left side, but really it's the pop bunker that has to be avoided.
Yeah, that's a nice swing, and the result is going to be a tee shot that is set up just fine. From the fairway, 98 yards remaining for his second. Frank landed it on the green.
It was never going to stop.
No chance.
I didn't realize this hole was this long. Long, short. Here we go again. Now, this would be an unbelievable putt if you can make this putt.
This would be huge from 30 feet away. Well read. That's in for a bogey 5. He'll drop back now to 1 under par. Now the heart begins to race a little bit because you know you're playing one of the greatest finishing stretches in the entire sport of golf. Starting with a 16, it's only 400 yards. If you can carry that island bunker, you can jumpstart your run to the house with a birdie 3. This up the right side off the tee.
That's a good tee shot down the right side. The flag's a little tight on the right, so you might have to have a little think about this one.
Down on the course, let's check in with Nota Begay III.
117 yards left to the hole. Ball on a slight downslope. Can choke up a bit just to take a few yards off. Sandwich in the air here, and it's drifting just right.
Well, had a good look at the green, but couldn't cash it in. In the rough now, wondering what might have been.
Woo, Nelly. That one whizzes past the hole. A difficult putt coming now.
Needs to slow a bit. Okay, that's still going to be a good 4 feet, though, coming back. Good putt there. It's a bogey 5 here at the par 4. And that's going to move him back down to even par. 17th hole here at Pebble Beach, all about history and all about beauty. Frank, what's the best way to make that 3 and get onto that 18th tee?
Well, first of all, it depends where the flag is cut, on the right side or the left side, because really this green is like a figure 8 on a 45-degree angle. On the left side, it's a much longer carry, and you've got to really hit your tee shot properly to make the ball carry that bunker and stop in time. On the right side, you can see, you go with a shorter club, and the target is bigger.
Now from the bunker.
Just a little splash out on this par 3.
Okay, pretty big swing necessary there, and that's not all that bad from that far away. From about 8 feet.
Nah, that was right all the way. That one finished off toward bogey here at 17. And he'll drop back to 1 over par. Well, here we are now at arguably the greatest finishing hole in golf. 536-yard par 5. Pacific Ocean, massive fairway bunker stretching more than 100 yards on the left, and cypress trees. Just a few of the things you need to contend with. No problems there. That's going to wind up safely in the fairway. That's what he wanted to do. After the tee shot, puts himself in really good position here on the par 5. The putter has not been at its best, but this is a good look for birdie. Yeah, that's a good putt there. It's a birdie at 18. And that will be an opening round of 72, even par. Our featured golfer here today had some moments, but maybe not the round one you're looking for, Frank.
Too many mistakes, Rich. Right now, don't think about the leader. Just worry about improving your own game.
EA Sports and the PGA Tour proudly present the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. From beautiful Pebble Beach, California, it's live second-round coverage of the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Well, let's face it, Mother Nature's just showing off this week. Pebble Beach, one of the crown jewels of American sport in all its glory. As we look at the Friday leaderboard, we're looking at a tie at the top at 7 under par. We head out to the course as we pick up the action on the tee at the par 4 fourth. From well down the fairway, this a bit of a tricky distance for his second. 15 feet away. Frank, that is painful.
And all you got to do, just hit it. Just hit it.
Okay, that one finished off. It's a par here at 4, and he'll remain at 1 under par. First par 3 of the round, and Frank, I'm reminded of the great history that Jack Nicklaus has here at Pebble Beach, and that goes well beyond what he did as a player.
Well, that's for sure. And we know his playing credentials, but he won the second of his 2 U.S. amateurs here in 1961. Actually said that was the best he ever hit the golf ball, but his legacy really as a designer you see right here in front of you. I never got to play the old 5th hole, which is further left, but this is an absolute beast. It plays around 190 yards, very narrow green, and that is a cliff on the right, believe me.
Didn't check, Frank.
Yeah, just not enough spin on that, really. I mean, that almost like took that first bounce and just ricocheted forward. Just a little over-ambitious on that chip shot. It just sailed past.
Not quite online, and that'll drift a couple feet by. Okay, that one brushed in for bogey here at the 5th. And he's going to fall out of red figures, back down to even par. Well, now Pebble Beach begins to really open up with some of the most famous holes in the world. We'll begin with a 498-yard par 5 6th. Pacific Ocean on the right and a row of bunkers on the left. Treacherous is a word that comes to mind. That will do just fine. We'll remind you that coming up next week, we move from the serenity of the Pacific Ocean here at Pebble Beach to a scene that will be anything but calm. That is the Waste Management Phoenix Open down at TPC Scottsdale. Frank, I always think different venues, sort of different soundtracks. Pebble is crashing waves with Argyle sweaters. The Waste Management Phoenix Open, it's like a nightclub in Prague at about 2 in the morning.
And I've been to Prague too, yeah. Except Prague doesn't have the 700,000 people. It's the greatest gate. Some say the greatest show on grass. It really is. That 16th hole, I'll tell you just one quick little story. Tom Watson, in his heyday with the late Bruce Edwards on the bag, it was the one hole he changed his routine. He would get Bruce to go ahead to the tee, all those people around, and he'd just say, give me the club and hit it. It was the one time he broke tradition. It's absolute frenzy at Scottsdale.
Okay, a good out, and that's what will remain for birdie. Right about 9 feet here to the hole. Okay, nicely played. That's in for birdie here at 6.
And that's going to help his chances to play the weekend, as currently he's hovering right around the cut line.
Frank, there are certain spots in sport that kind of steal your breath. Starters Gate at the Kentucky Derby, home plate at Fenway Park, maybe top of the hill if you ski at Kitzbühel, 7th tee at Pebble Beach. Absolutely is one of those special places.
Just over 100 yards, Rich. It's the ultimate, piece of cake. Where that's what it looks like, but then you try and taste it, and you want a little more, and then you realize that you've just bitten off more than you can chew.
Oh. That one was running so hot.
An awkward little bunker shot. Just splash it out, let the ball run towards the flag.
That is such a tough bunker to try and navigate. That's onto the green, but still a tricky distance coming up. Got it there, but not quite on target. Okay, that'll mitigate things a little. It is still a double bogey, though, here at the par 3. And that's going to drop him back down to 6 over. So, Frank, this a very difficult Friday for our featured golfer. Nothing seemed to go right. And this is going to wind up an MC. That stands for missed cut.
Not
EA Sports and the PGA Tour proudly present the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. From perpetually sunny Scottsdale, Arizona, it's live opening round coverage of the WM Phoenix Open. It is called the People's Open. Enthusiastic crowds have been the norm. 700,000 fans expected through the turnstiles this week. As we check the early leaderboard, we've currently got a tie at the top at 5 under par. We get into the action here starting at the par 3 fourth. So, Frank, week 4 now on the PGA Tour. We said last week that there were a unique set of traditions at Pebble Beach. This tournament, unique in a different way. I have to think for a young golfer like the one we'll be following today, this can be an intimidating place to play if you're not prepared. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a great choice of words, Rich. It does intimidate you because when you go through the tunnel at 15 and then you go into that cauldron, coliseum, whatever you want to call it, of 16, and you see 30,000 people surround it like a baseball diamond, that's something I know when I first did it for the first time. I've never experienced anything like that. Your heart rate goes uncontrollable. You go into like this sort of crazed frenzy. So, yeah, this is no tradition here.
Such a thrill playing in the Masters as a professional for the first time. Frank, if you could take me back through your first round, your first tournament, what do you remember most about that experience?
Good and bad, really. It was the first cut that I missed as in a major championship. But in those days, they didn't use the top 50 of the world rankings, so I really didn't get into my sort of early mid-30s. But I don't really want to talk about my first round, but by virtue of that, I got drawn with the late, great Arnold Palmer on the Friday. And, I sort of wanted to get out of town as quick as I could. But I watched the great man play the golf course, and I saw lines that I never, ever saw when I played my practice rounds. I got to play alongside a guy that obviously had put on a green jacket more than once. And while that was a Masters I'd like to forget for different reasons, the very next year I finished fourth. So I credit that to my rookie year and playing with a man that basically could play the golf course backwards in Arnold Palmer. Way too good, I must say. That was just smashed. Yeah, sizable putt left.
Okay, that's going to be finished off for his bogey, and that's going to drop him down the leaderboard just a bit. Now to the par 4 6th. Decision time, Frank. Driver, where do you go with 3-wood?
A lot of that's going to depend on if there's any breeze. If the breeze is at your back, you can drive it all the way down the right side and take those two bunkers down the right completely out of play. This hole's been stiffened up, though. The length hasn't increased by that bunkering in that choke point. So, the strategy. Do you have the length to get past them? Or if you have to lay up, it's going to leave a much longer second shot.
Nope, that wasn't the right line, and he'll pay the price as this ball going to run off the fairway and into the bunker.
All in all, not a bad fairway bunker shot. Just does not hold the green.
Well, that one didn't work out. Didn't look bad in the air. It hit the green, but didn't sit.
Yeah, it was never going to stop.
Time to just pick up and move on to the next hole. This 215-yard 7th is the longest par 3 at TPC Scottsdale. The challenge here is that there's a false front there, so if you don't take enough club, you can come back off short of the green. And if you're left, you'll end up in that big bunker, which is guarding the putting surface. All right, you don't have to catch it on the middle of the face every time. That's on the middle of the dance floor, and a birdie putt coming up.
Not only a long putt, but a bending putt. Strong right to left in this one. They'll be very pleased just to get this one within a couple of feet. Oh, what a putt right there. The speed was spot on, but it was just a fraction offline, or that would have gone in. That one finished off. It'll be a par here at 7, and he'll stay at 1 over. One last look at the leaderboard, Frank. Our featured golfer down, but not out after day 1.
Yeah, they might have to take the standing 8, though, or hit the reset button. This
EA Sports and the PGA Tour proudly present the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. From the Sonoran Desert and always entertaining TPC Scottsdale, it's live second-round coverage of the WM Phoenix Open. It is known as the greatest show on grass, and it has lived up to that moniker through the first couple of rounds as we take a look at the Friday leaderboard. Keegan Bradley is on top. He's at 6 under par. So let's get out to the action as we pick things up on the tee at the par 4 fifth. Well, those are the shots that turn what you'd like to be a leisurely stroll out on the golf course into a day of hard work.
Yeah, what could have been a tap-in is now going to be a grind.
He'll go ahead and finish that off. It's in for his bogey. And he'll slide back now to 3 over par. Par 4 sixth is not overly long at 430.